Hello viewers, welcome to Autonomous College. Today we are going to discuss about the new concept that is known as directory management in Unix. It is a session 2, and in this session we are going to discuss what are the different commands are related to our directory management. Now we can focus on slide. So in this section we are going to discuss what are the different parts of directories especially used in Unix system. We know that in the previous section we are learning how to create a directories and what are the different ways to listing out some directories in our Unix system. So today we are going to discuss what are the different way to create some parent directories in our Unix system. Then we are learning what are the different ways to removing some directories, as well as we are to take a chance to changing the directories and how to renaming the directories which exist in our Unix system. Then we are learning how to use the directories in the way of dot and double dot symbol in our Unix operating system. First of all, we are learning how to creating some parent directories in our Unix system. Here we will now understand how to create parent directories. Sometimes when you want to create a directory, its parent directory or directories might not exist. In this case, mkdir issues an error message as follows. We know that in a Unix system we especially use that is known as a $sign as a Unix prompt in our Unix operating system. So similarly we have a command like mkdir. We know that mkdir command special helps to create a directory in our system, but here we are using the relative path and as well as you can say absolute path or relative path, but here we are using that is known as a relative path, which is mentioned as a / then tmp then amrod then text. It is a default directories which exist in our Unix system. Similarly here that mkdir is one type of command. We know that command always used to create a directory, but here this mkdir failed to make the directory that is named as a text. That means temp is known as a one directory. Inside a directory we have a directory that is named as amrod. In that amrod we also have another directory named as text. So in this way, if a user want to create that type of parent directories inside that amrod, in that moment we will never create a parent directory in it. So no such file or directory is created inside it. We are getting an error message here. That means if a user want to create a parent directory, we must follow some different type of commands we are using in it. So we know that in such cases you can specify that is known as -p. That means what is the use of that -p? Here that -p is known as an option to the mkdir command which is used in our system. So it creates all the directories, that means which is necessary available in our Unix system, creates all the necessary directories for you. But one thing is always remember, whenever user want to create that way of creation in our Unix system, user must take the help of -p option, and that -p option must be used just simultaneously with the help of that is known as mkdir command. With the help of mkdir command we can also assign -p, then we can put here space symbol. Whenever user can put here space symbol, then we can write the corresponding or sequence system, and in that system sequence must be created instead of that is any type of disturbances in our Unix system. So that mkdir command always prefer to use like -p symbol, and that -p helps to create a symbol means directory in that parent operating system. So whenever user can take the help of that -p, it is automatically created that is known as a directory inside that parent directory. So in this way we can easily create some parent directories in our amrod directory system. That means it is a way of creation of parent directories. So the above command creates all the required parent directories in our Unix system. Next we are going to discuss what are the different ways to use that is known as removing directories. We know that whenever user want to choose that removing directories, which is an essential part of Unix system, we know that whenever user can take the help of Unix operating system, there is no need to use any type of like mouse movement, cursor movement in our Unix system, but with the help of commands we can easily rename, removing, changing some directories, one directories to another directories, and delete also can be performed through like a Unix command which is so easily available in our system. So how to use that removing directories in our Unix system? Here that directories can be deleted using rmdir, means how to remove it. So that rmdir command helps to removing the directories in our Unix system. So that if a user want to put that rmdir command in Unix system, that must be used just inside the command like your $prompt, and that $prompt you know that is from the Unix prompt. That Unix prompt we can write, then you can type here rmdir command which is used as a removing directories from our Unix system. Then you can write the destination directories name. That means which directories is need to be deleted from our Unix system. We can write in front of that rmdir command. Then we can press enter. Whenever user can press enter, then automatically the file is removed from our Unix system. Whenever you can remove, automatically you are getting a $prompt. That means Unix prompt which is shows in our monitor screen. That means you know that if there is no any warning or there is no any error messages, then we can think that the file or we can say directory is successfully deleted from our Unix system. So we have a note here. If a user need to remove that directories, then to make sure it is empty, which means there should not be any file or subdirectories inside this directory. So you can remove multiple directories at a time as follows here. If a user want to delete more files or more directories in our Unix system, then user must put the symbol like, or we can say syntax like, just you can put a $prompt means Unix prompt, then you can type here rmdir command. Whenever user can put that rmdir command, then we can put a space. Whenever user can put a space, then we can write some destination or some directories. Those directories that need to be deleted or removed from our Unix system. We can write that name of that type of directories. Then first of all you can type for dir name1, dir name2, then dir name3. These three type of directories are needed to be deleted from our Unix system. We can write simultaneously in front of that rmdir command, and that rmdir command can be written in front of that type of destination directories. Those directories that need to be removed from our Unix system. Then you can press enter. Automatically all directories whatever you are mentioned in our rmdir command, then it is automatically deleted from our Unix system. Whenever it is successfully deleted, we successfully get a prompt without any error message on our monitor screen. So it is a general way through which we can easily remove from our some directories which are exist in our Unix system. So especially we have some way of representation which is already mentioned in this slide. The above command removes the directories that is mentioned as a dir name1, dir name2 and dir name3. If they are empty, then rmdir command produces no output if it is successfully present in our system. So it is a general way of implementation through which we can perform is sequence tasks in our Unix operating system. We know that that rmdir command specially used to help of that directories which is unnecessary available in our Unix system. We need to remove it, and that remove way is always depends on that command that is known as rmdir command. With the help of that rmdir command, we can easily remove which is exist in our Unix operating system. It is also helps to remove a single way of deletion. Otherwise, we can take the help of multiple directories which is exist in our Unix operating system. So in this way, we can easily use that type of commands to remove from our Unix operating system. Next, we are going to discuss how to changing directories in a Unix operating system. You can use that cd command to do more than just change to a home directory. You can use it to change to any directory by specifying a valid absolute or relative path in our Unix operating system. So that we are using a simple syntax which is present in our Unix system. Like we can take the help of Unix prompt which is denoted as $sign. Then we can type a command like cd, and that cd helps to changing the directories one directory to another directory. Then you can put that cd, then you can put a space, then you can type the directory name. whenever user can type the dir name, that means directory name, user can easily move towards that dir name and easily way of changing its directory's location from one location to another location. So here dir name is the name of the directory that you want to change to. For example, the command is used here. If a user can shift directly to the bin directory, in that moment we can take the help of that is known as absolute path. Through that absolute path we can easily locate or change the position of directories to the bin directory. So in this section we have three directories. One is known as a USR directory, then we have a local directory, then we have a bin directory. That means that local directory is present inside that USR, then bin directory is present inside that local. That means our most important motto we can move towards the which is present the nested directory named as a bin. In that moment user can take the help of that absolute path. Through that absolute path we can easily change the position of the directory in our Unix operating system. So it is a general way of movement or shifting the position of a directories one location to another location. So it is a general way of movement which is so very reliable way, and that reliable way of movement is successfully performed whenever user can take the help of that absolute path in their Unix operating system with the help of cd command, and that cd command is always used as changing directories command, which is mentioned in our slide. Next we are going to discuss what are the different use of that cd, that means changing directory command in our Unix operating system, so that we need to change the directory which is mentioned here as a absolute path /usr. Then we are typing here like a one directory named as local. Inside that we have a directory named as bin. Then we can need to follow it from this directory. You can use like cd command, that means changing directory command to the directory which are mentioned here, user, usr, then home, then amrod. This is another path through which you can be putting inside that directory. That means we need to change the position of the directory one location to another location. In that moment user can put like some symbol, some relative path symbol here. Just you can type in here Unix prompt as a $sign, then you can put a command like cd, then you can put a double dot and /, then you can put a double dot, then you can type in here /home. Home is another directory. Inside that directory we have a parent directory named as amrod. That amrod is known as a parent directory in our Unix system. Then we can press enter. That means we are automatically moved towards that directory position towards here amrod, and that amrod is known as a parent directory in our Unix operating system. Next we are going to discuss how to renaming some directories which are present in our Unix operating system. So we know that whenever user want to change its name, we can also take the help of a command, that command named as mb. That mb command is used as a move command. According to that move command we can change the name of that file, or we can say some renaming the positions which is present in our directory, so that mb command can also be used to rename a directory. It is also used as a move, but it is specially used as a rename which is in our Unix operating system, so that it is must be mentioned through a syntax which is displayed in our slide here. We can first type here Unix prompt, that is known as a $sign, then we can put a command like mb, then we can give a space, then we can type your old dir, that means the old file name, then we can type a new directory name. That means through this way we can easily change the name of the directory. Otherwise we can moved or removed which is exist directory to a non-exist directory, which is also possible through that mb command. So it is a general way of movement in a Unix operating system, so that a user must use a rename a directory or a command like just you can say mb command. In that moment also we have another way of representation which is already mentioned in this section, like you can rename a directory like my dir to your dir. In that moment user can also type here like $prompt means Unix prompt, then you can type a command, that means renaming command mb, then you can type a current name, then we can type in a destination, that means our destination directory name, that destination directory name must be renamed in the way of my dir. That means my dir file directory name must be removed with the name of your dir name. So it is a way of representation in a Unix operating system. We can put in some symbols also available in a Unix operating system. It is so suitable way and robust way to use this type of commands in a Unix operating system. So we know that, and that mb command, but it is named as a move, but it is used as a rename in our Unix operating system. So we are already using how to rename a directories. We especially prefer mb command, and that mb command is also used as a renaming a specific type of file name to another name. We know that, but now we are going to discuss how to use some commands like, but that is not used as a command, but is behaving as a command, that like some symbols. We know that the single dot and double dot symbol, and that single dot or double dot symbol must be focused in our Unix system, because you know that whenever user can move one location to another location and to there is no any that means there is no easy way to mention its path. In that moment we always need to prefer like dot, single dot or double dot. Now we can focus on a slide. So in this slide we are mentioned here the directories like how to use single dot and double dot, and what are the real implementation of these two type of symbols in our Unix operating system. First of all, we can say the file name which is used as a dot, single dot, which represents the current working directories. That means whenever user can put a single dot, that means in front of that file name, we know that it is known as a current directory. That means our working directory in our Unix operating system. If a user can use like double dot, we know that with the name of file name double dot, which represents the directory one level above the current working directory, often referred to as the parent directory. That means that double dot symbol always helps to locate the current working directories. That means that may be present inside a directory, or we can say nested directory, we can say. But one way of representation that nested directory which is always present inside a folder. We know that in our embedded system that directories is also named as a folder, but in the case of Unix system we are always named as a directories, because we are doing lots of movements in our Unix operating system through commands. That's why that is Unix operating system is known as a platform independent as well as secure platform through which we can move our files from one location to another location, as well as we can change the name of that file in our Unix operating system. So that if we enter the command to show a listing of the current working directories or files, in that moment we can use like the option -a option. What is the use of that -a option? That -a option specially used to listing some files, and that we know that in -p specially used for different way of representation of Unix system, but here we can take the help of -a option, that -a option to list all the files, as well as the -l option to provide the long listing. That means with the help of that -l option to provide the long listing, we will receive the following result. Whenever user can put some result in our Unix system, in that moment we can take the help of that options like -a, as well as we can say -l. Two options helps to listing out in our Unix system very reliable and flexible way. The next we are going to discuss how to use this type of commands in our Unix operating system. So that user must put some commands like ls. We know that what is the use of that ls command. That ls command is used as a listing command, and that listing command must be use some options, that option named as L or A, and that L or A option must be denoted with the help of like a hyphen symbol. That hyphen symbol helps to listing some directories in different way of analysis, so that whenever user can put like ls space -la, then we can press and enter. In that moment we are getting some options, some outputs in our monitor screen, which is named as drwxrv. It is known as one file name, and that file name, then we have a 4 is known as a section, and which is present inside like a teacher, and inside the teacher is known as a class, and is known as a size. Then we are created as a one date and month time with some which is known as a working way of location, which is present in Unix system. Similarly, we are also getting another way of representation that is denoted as DRWXR, and it is also known as a root location like 60, and there is no any class mentioned here. Then we have a size like 1536, and we also have some mention some date and timing, and which is already available in our Unix system. So that is mentioned here double dot, and in that double dot specially located as a current working dot in our Unix operating system. So we know that in this slide already discussed how to use like single dot and double dot operations in a Unix operating system. So it is a general way of movement, but one thing is always remember, a user must remember this type of commands if to doing some operations in our Unix operating system. So it is some general way of movement through which you can manage our directories in a Unix operating system. But in the previous sections already discussed how to manage some file management in a Unix operating system in a reliable way. But this type of commands we can take the help of movement of files or directories in a Unix operating system very robust way and very secure way. So it is a general way of movements. Okay, if you have any type of doubts, then you can ask me through comments. Okay, finally, thank you, have a nice day.